Well, it's back to my local syndicate for this trip, where I desperately need to get my account started for the year. Thanks for joining me on the Journeyman's Tales. Well, it's fast coming on to evening now, and I've got everything set up. I did actually put the bivvy up first before I put the rods out. It's not something I normally do, but I don't know. Comfort seems to be the key to it all these days. Anyway, I've had a couple of weeks off because of the what they laughingly call a procedure with the NHS. And rather than sitting moping around the house waiting for them to phone me with the results, I thought I might as well come out and do something constructive. So I've come up to my local syndicate. Can't really do the drive up to Oxford at the moment, it's a bit too far. So come to the local syndicate. Now, I haven't done particularly well on here for a while now, but they have been coming out again in the last couple of weeks, although the weather has turned quite cold again. And there's quite a strong easterly wind blowing into the bivvy at this moment in time, but it is due to turn round to the south midday tomorrow-ish and start warming up, and the pressure should start dropping as well. So if that happens, we should be in a good position. It's a good swim. I haven't put any bait out at the moment. I think it's one of those, well, all the swims are exactly the same basically. They're being fished constantly, so there's bait going in all the time, so I've just put singles out for the moment. And it'll probably stay like that tonight. I'll see if nothing happens tonight, then I'll think about putting some bait out mid-morning tomorrow. But I'm just gonna, I don't know, start doing my tea in a minute, settle down for the night, and hope something turns up. Well, good morning. It's about 9:30, I suppose. I've been up since first light, really, waiting for an opportunity to put a bit of bait in. Actually, the wind has turned around a little bit. It's kind of southeasterly at the moment. It was wild during the night, blowing straight into the bivvy, and I don't know, every now and again branches were coming off the trees and landing on the rods and setting off the alarms. I mean, so I say branches, we're talking sort of that kind of thing. But they were landing on the rods, setting the alarms off. So not a lot of sleep was had. And I did actually have to use the hot water bottle last night to keep body and soul together. But I was waiting for it to calm down a bit this morning to try and get a bit of spomb out there, and I've done it now. I'm fishing the left-hand rod and the middle rod long, and I wanted to bring the right one a bit shorter and fish a bit of bait over it, which I've now managed to do. Now I'm fishing the same sort of mix that I was at Linear. Only trouble is, you're not allowed to use anything but boilie and pellet here, so there's no bloodworm in the mix. But I have made it a little bit stiffer and kind of balled it up because I'm fishing in 10.5, 11 foot of water now. So I don't want it sort of clouding up and drifting off, because there must be a bit of an undertow going on with the amount of wind. So balled it up a bit stiffer, so it's going to go down a bit before it starts breaking up. Hopefully not spreading it around too much. So I've brought the right rod in a bit shorter, and I've changed it. I mean, they were all out on hinge stiffies, but I've changed just for the sheer hell of it. The right hand rod is now on a, I've got some blown away now. I've got one on a withy rig for no other reason than I can. Again, using the Probate UK specials, and it's got plastic maggots because you're not allowed to use maggots on here. So that's what's out on the shorter rod at the moment. I've just got singles out on the 2 long range ones, and hopefully this wind will stay around on the west side of things and lighten up maybe a bit. If it stays like it is now, I could get a bit of Spomb out, but like it was during the night, that just wasn't going to be happening because the accuracy would have been rubbish, and there's no point in chucking it all over the place where I'm not fishing. Anyway, that's where we're at the moment. Well, despite what it looks like on the camera, the light is fading fast now. I'm going to have this cup of coffee and start preparing a bit of food. Unfortunately, a very quiet day. I have been putting in a couple of Spombs over the right hand rod every couple of hours to sort of keep that crumb dropping through the water. To no avail. I only know of a couple of fish. Was one come out directly opposite me, the other side of the island, and one has just come out about half an hour ago, way off to my left. I don't think anything else has come out at all in the last night and day. So hopefully something will turn up tonight. I think I might bring the middle rod down the shelf a little bit if they are in maybe deeper water. We'll assess the situation in the morning. If nothing happens through the night, then I think I might call it a day. The only exciting bit that's happened so far is a couple of helicopters flying about, but that looks like one of them's an ambulance, so it obviously hasn't boded well for somebody. We'll see what the morning brings. If we've caught, then we'll hang around. If we haven't caught, I think we'll call it a day. See how the body feels anyway. Tea time. Here we go. Unfortunately, yet another quiet night. Although the temperature is getting better. It went quite calm actually last night. The wind levels dropped down a bit. I did get the odd spurious bleep, not even indicating a liner really. Not even indicating a diving bird. Normally you get more than that, so I don't know what that was all about. But I did manage one just as it was getting dark on the long rod, a little stocky. Ironically, having brought the right hand rod into slightly deeper water and the middle rod into slightly deeper water where I was able to get some bait over, the long rod went. But the same long rod has been ignored all night now. That was on the withy rig I showed you with the artificial maggots on top, on the Probate UK special pop-ups. But that's been it. I mean, one stocky swimming around on his own. Very odd. But I've decided I'm going to stay for another night. As the week's progressing, the weather is supposed to be getting better. The barometric pressure is dropping. It is getting marginally warmer. Don't know. Normally it gets worse for me the longer I stay, but I have occasionally got myself out of a hole on the last night, so we'll see. Anyway, it's easier to stay than move, to be honest. But that's the plan at the moment. I'm going to leave it a little bit later on. I'm going to put some more bait out. There are somewhat large flocks of tufties swimming around the place, but they haven't, touch wood, so far been a real nuisance. So I will continue to put a bit more bait out there. Ironically, I've just watched a part of a video from Liam Bartrop's spodding out virtually the same sort of thing within the legalities of this water. Anyway, that's the plan. Going to stick it out. Going to keep plugging away. It really does only need one run on here to catch yourself an enormous fish. So that's the plan. I don't know what those gulls are doing. Another bonsai stocky on the Indian Spice TT combo. Actually, I think they're getting slightly smaller. There you go. Pretty little thing. Could be a 30. Could be 8 pounds. You never know, do you? I think I better put a bit of medication on that. seem to go off in a hurry, then stop. I think we've got another one with a yolk sac attached to it. Unless he convinces me otherwise. No, it's a stubby. Getting a little bit bigger, but you can only put the right bait in the right place. You can't dictate what picks it up. But this one's got a bit of a dink in this particular flank I'm looking at, so we put a bit of antiseptic on it. I'll give you a quick glimpse. All right, all right, all right, all right. A bit of antiseptic and away. There you go, babe. Well, a couple of weeks ago, when I was sitting in the recovery ward after the operation, I was playing with my phone. You're actually allowed to use mobile phones in some of these wards now. I was surfing the internet looking at tackle, and one thing led to another, and I ended up buying some new tackle, which I'm using on this particular trip. So I thought I'd kind of do an ad hoc competition, really. I've got one, as far as I'm aware, one of the VW Journeyman caps left in stock. Now I'm not going to be ordering any more. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning a cap, if you can identify the new piece of tackle I'm using on this particular trip, just put a comment in stating what the tackle is, and the first one to do it can win themselves a cap. Just a bit of fun. Well, it's about 1:30 and the strangest of bites so far, and resulting in probably the biggest fish so far. So they are getting bigger. And the last two have come on the special pop-ups, fished on the left-hand rod. So, if they keep slowly progressing, we should be on for a ginormous one by nightfall. Right, she's going back. Well, I've taken to the bivvy because that southeasterly wind is getting a bit chilly out there, and I wanted to cook something nice and warm to warm myself up. But we've now had 4 fish. The last one was a nice chunky common. I haven't weighed any of them, but as I said earlier on, you can put a good bait on a good spot, and it's really down to the carp gods in the main what picks it up. Hopefully, maybe later on this evening or through the night, something bigger might turn up. But I'm happy that the bait's working, the spots are working, and the fish are slowly coming along after the first 24 hours where nothing happened. As long as they keep trickling through, that's all you can ask really, especially at this time of year, because that water out there is absolutely freezing. Anyway, I'm going to tuck into this before it gets cold. Cheers. Well, good morning. Unfortunately, that was a very quiet night again. Strange, you go through periods where you're only catching in darkness, then there's a kind of a transition period where you're catching some in the dark, some in the day, and then it seems to go you're catching days only, and then as the weather warms up, you're catching day and night again. Or is that just me? Anyway, I'm going to finish this last cup of coffee. It's time for me to start packing away and getting back to reality. And is that a grebe again? Yes, I think that's a grebe again. Yeah, thanks for your company on this Journeyman's Tales. Don't forget to have a look at the notifications. Less than 200 subscribers have actually hit the notification button. So if you do that, you're going to get instant notification of when the new videos come out. As I say, thanks for your company on this Journeyman's Tales. And I'll catch you all again soon. Cheers for now.